Oh my gosh. It's black fly season. Hi, it's Christine with Homegrown Harvest. We're waiting for Mark. He went to go get the mosquito netting. We'll wait for some of you guys to show up. I don't know if anybody's watching yet. Let's see. Live television. Or podcasting. There we go. That's good. Over here. How is everybody today? Hi, I'm Christine with Homegrown Harvest. It's Q&A Thursday. And we're live here in New Hampshire. Black fly season. As you can see. It is very, very... It's nice out here, but... Oh, while we're out here, I'll take you on a tour of the garden. Those rings are there from, I had to put some tarps over the other day from some spraying that was going on. And over here we have some potatoes. Started the potato sacks. And in here, the asparagus garden. Bed is coming along really nicely. Very happy with that. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Did you sing the Homegrown Tomato song?
No. I waited for you.
All right. Well, I got to do something about these.
So,
flies.
We were taking a tour of the garden, and we've talked about these water walls.
There, well, this is what you look like in the garden in spring in this part of New Hampshire right now. They call them black flies. When we moved up here, we were expecting something big and coming in the size of a hornet. No. These are very small. Not what you call no-see-ums in some other places. These are also called mayflies. But they're very annoying. So we have to do this sometimes. We actually have the full
ensemble,
which sometimes is used against bees and other stingy things too. But that's what spring in the mountains is like, and the mountains and the lake.
Alrighty, so we'll get started with the show.
I thought we are started with the show.
Well, officially started with the show.
Here, you want to?
I will don.
You want to go undercover?
Yes, I will. Because I can feel like the creepy crawlies.
I can sing homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. Of course, if you watched our last episode, you also knew that homegrown potatoes also work, even though apparently I said that there was no milk or cream in our potato soup, and there is. So it's healthy for you anyway. She's donning the whole ensemble, as we say, an inside joke that about 5 people in the world would get.
So, it's Q&A Thursday, where we answer questions from...
Oh, I thought you said this was TNA Thursday.
I wouldn't have my bright yellow shirt on though.
Anticipation.
I need little feet.
Oh, I have socks.
I don't. So our first question is: I'm worried about my newly planted seeds washing away in these torrential rains. What can I do?
I hear you, sister. Mulch.
Mulch. The best thing to do is just to put a light layer of pine mulch. Pine straw rather. That will help things hold things down, and it will diffuse the water, so it won't be hitting your seeds directly in the soil. The next question is my compost this spring didn't seem ready. I have a black plastic box. I was ill during the winter and didn't turn the lawn mowed leaves from last fall.
Ooh.
I put in some organic compost starter to get it moving. Does my compost need to be as broken down as what comes in the bags that you spread in the garden?
Are there lawn clippings in there too?
Well, I think she usually uses the long clippings and stuff. I mean, the short
Does it?
answer is yes, your compost needs to look like the stuff that you get at the store. When compost is ready, it feels and smells and it looks like rich, dark earth. It's a dark brown color.
If you can smell
crumbly.
anything that reminds you of what it used to be.
Or if it looks like, if you smell any rotting vegetables, or if you see anything that you can recognize, then the compost is not ready. If she was ill, she probably wasn't turning the compost as much. One of the most important things when you're making compost is mixing and turning it, and especially in those black bins. So
This is honestly the worst the black flies have been, well, certainly this year.
I know. Well, this is part of living in New Hampshire. There's good and bad, and you can figure out ways to do it. You always want to make sure your compost is ready, because there's acids and pathogens in there that occur during decomposition and stuff. So you want to make sure that all that stuff.
She sometimes calls our composter the decomposer.
Yeah, the tea composter.
No, your fruit, well, it is decomposing. It's the decomposer.
When you're the whole process of decomposition uses oxygen and nitrogen.
Did you see on the news this week that I think it was Washington State, allowed for the first time human composting? Not human waste. Human body.
Oh,
Yeah, you
no,
can
I didn't
literally
see that.
plant a tree in me.
Didn't one of the actors, he wore like a mushroom suit, like what do you call it? From 9060210.
That may have been the dude. I don't know. But anyway,
We digress.
we digress on decomposing.
Well, the thing is, so if you put in compost that's not done, what happens is the decomposition happens while it's still in the garden, and that's not good, because as I said, like nitrogen and oxygen are used during the process of decomposition.
Okay,
And those are
this
things that
changes the
your
mix of the
plants-
creepy crawlies in there, the good ones you want to keep.
Well, no, and also it just like those things are going towards the decomposition and not towards the plant. So you want to really make sure that your compost is done. It should look like that beautiful black earth, especially if you screen it. There's certain things that will take forever to break down. If you're
Avocados.
avocado pits,
Everybody
corn
wants guacamole now, or the avocado slices, not the guacamole.
corn cobs too. I mean, and everything all depends upon how much you chopped it up in the first place. The more you chop it up, the quicker it will decompose in
You
your.
know, back in the days up in the hills, we had a different use for corn cobs.
So, but hot compost
We
piles.
fed them to the pigs. Where were you going with that?
Hot compost, hot piles, like in the black boxes, they require turning. Also the fact that she didn't add her yard clippings, it sounds like she usually does. It could be a disbalance in the nitrogen to carbon that she had in the compost to begin with. So that's, when you're composting, you have to have a good balance. I think composting, it's 3-to-1. No, in hot composting, it's 2-to-1, and cold composting, it's 3-to-1, nitrogen to carbons. So you want to definitely do that. And our last question is, last year my basil was 3 feet tall. This year I can't get it to grow at all. Good irrigated soil, same location. I do see some tiny holes in the lower leaves. Any suggestions? So,
I was looking to see if I could read any questions that are there, but I can't see through the mesh.
nope, it just says who's signed on. We appreciate you coming. So this is from your aunt.
My aunt.
Your aunt's basil. What do you think's wrong with her basil? Especially so she's got some tiny holes in the leaves.
That sounds like bugs.
That does sound like bugs. The fact that it's not growing the same way it depends.
Has she been growing it in the same place all these
Well,
through all
she
this time?
has. She says she has been growing it in the same location in good irrigated soil. Now, we always say with vegetables, you need to rotate them because vegetables can be susceptible to leaving behind soil-borne diseases that build up over time. So if you plant your tomatoes in the same place over time, things can build up in the soil, and that will affect it. Herbs a little less so, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're
Is she putting compost? Was she giving it any nutrients?
She didn't say.
Well, that could be if she had not rotating and not feeding. That's just depleting the growing medium. Sounds to me also.
I mean, we always rotate the only vegetables obviously we don't rotate are the perennials because they're always there, but
they perennial.
They're perennial. They stay there. But the other, I rotate herbs the same way I rotate
People always get
vegetables.
confused this time of year. We've been going to a lot of greenhouses in the area looking for plants and for flowers and also for interesting vegetables. And I hear the same thing I hear every spring. I hear the people at work there explaining to people the difference between annuals and perennials. And I think we were just talking about this, and I think it makes sense that it doesn't make sense because you have an annual visit with your doctor, right? Not a perennial visit with your doctor.
Right.
So, but that would suggest that annual in the plant world means it happens it only happens once, and you have to plant it every year.
Right. It's only good for 1 year.
Or
And then
perennial means it happens year after year. So you should
And what's even more confusing is depending upon what zone you live, like an annual up here in zone 5 could be a perennial down in zone like 8.
True that.
So,
True that.
Depending upon what you're reading about and it can be a little confusing because especially if you're tend to take things very literally like I do.
No.
So
Can we wrap this up soon? These bugs are.
Yes, we are. Actually, that was
me.
our last question. I was going to say thank you to those who've asked us questions. We appreciate it. Please send in more questions to us. You can find us on Facebook or on Instagram, and you can even hit us up on Pinterest. And next week, because it's Memorial Day,
Yay, Memorial Day.
we're not going to have our regular show on Monday. We'll postpone it and we'll have it on Tuesday. So we'll see y'all on Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Everybody have a great weekend. Be
Homegrown
safe.
tomatoes. Homegrown tomatoes. What would life
have
be
great,
without
wonderful
homegrown
gardening,
tomatoes?
okay?
Only
And
two
hopefully you have
things
some
that
good
money
weather.
can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes.